everybody, to another episode of the Adeptus Ridiculous Podcast. My name is DK Diamantes. His name is Bricky. You know the drill. Warhammer 40k. We love it. You love it. Let's learn about it. But before we do, if you enjoyed today's episode, head over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you can get access to the Discord, the bloopers, if they happen, HD posters at the $15 tier. It's great. Please consider the following. Patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous. Bricky, take this thing away.
Okay, I have a nice sponsor for y'all. We're going to talk about stuff. I'm going to roll it now. Shy, roll it. Today's episode of Adeptus Ridiculous is sponsored by Factor. Factor is an excellent meal service that has no prep, no mess, and allows you to save lots of time and alleviate stress in your busy day. There are a ton of fantastic options that help you reach your goals and fit the lifestyle of yours, whether it's a vegan or vegetarian, one that needs some lower calories, higher protein, and all kinds of other well-made and delicious ingredients. The prep is extremely easy. It arrives, it's all good and there and done. It is in the microwave and it is finished. There is no excess waste for it. It is all there for you to immediately get the food you want. Particularly great for those of you who are spending far too much time building miniatures when you could be doing other things. I know who you are. And if you would like to get some great meals for yourself, you can check out the description, click the link to factor75.com and use code POGADEPTJuly50 for 50% off your first box down here in the description. Check out the link and go ahead and get started on reaching your goals today. And we're back.
Boy, do I love stuff.
And also a side note for the merch site, the music of the third mats have been restocked.
Let's go. That mat is sick.
That went really quick. So we have restocked them. They are back. So if you missed out on that, grab them while you can. I bought not the same amount as I bought the first time, but I bought like a good amount. So like, well, we sold up like a week. Just do it pretty quick, you know?
Yeah, get on it. You want to get on it. Apparently they sell out real quick. So, you know, maybe very quickly go to the merch store and very quickly click.
Perfect. All right. So, stuff.
I love
things.
stuff. Things and stuff.
Ideas.
Concepts.
Concepts is a good one. Concepts is a pretty good one. Any other ideas?
No. Why? I just figured we were gonna be like, hey, everybody, here's a quote that DK's gonna miss. Let's all have fun laughing.
I mean, yeah.
Sweet. So very, very close to what's going to actually happen.
I mean, there's the certain possibility for that one. However, I don't know if there's particularly a very good quote that I can use for this one without making it way too obvious.
Oh, you mean obvious like, the bolt gun at the start of your quote, and then...
Yeah, like that.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, I have one. I found one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is an enforcer on a hive, Epsilon hive. The enforcers. Well, technically, I guess this isn't really a quote. This is more of like an excerpt from like a book or a codex. Okay. So it's not like a quote, but whatever. The torchlight showed up a trail of blood leading to the back room. So like a fool, I followed it. Lying in the darkness was one of the smaller ones, its jaws distended around the torso of what I assume used to be the father. He was still convulsing. In my horror, I shoot the victim first. Big mistake.
Ooh, yuck. Oh, this sounds gross. But I think I got it.
What is it?
I'm pretty confident in this one. It's the combi bolter. For sure. 100%.
God.
Locking it in. Combi bolter.
You're really gonna do me like this. You're really gonna do me like this.
Yes, sir. You think I wasn't gonna bring it up at all? Man, I was waiting for that.
I really hoped we would just move right past that.
Oh, good sir. Do you not know me at all?
I know you got a shit memory, so I assumed you wouldn't.
I assumed the same thing when it happened. I was like, that sounds like a dumb thing that I would forget. Sure.
Let me begin my two-step apology. Step 1, get. Step 2.
That being said, as far as this quote is concerned, it's some kind of crazy Xenos that is eating a person and like immediately takes control of them. I don't know if it's like a Tyranid or if it's just some kind of weird Xenos alien thing that I don't know about, or some like zombie disease thing that's like the Tyranid cultists, the Genestealers. I don't know if it's like something like that, but it's some weird Xenos alien eating controlled thing, zombifies the body or whatever.
Yeah, it's Tyranids.
Okay, so
it's
okay.
Tyranids.
Okay.
There's a million of them, but they're almost all just so obvious. Like, they talk about bioships or like the tide of creatures and all this kind of stuff. It doesn't really work out if you try to do something different. I do like this one. There is a sorcerer of the Chaos Black Legion warband that says, "This is our galaxy, ours to corrupt, ours to enslave. The gods will not be denied their prize." Ooh. So you better not eat all of us, because screw you.
Shai said she has one too.
Ooh.
Do you want to read it or do you want me to read it?
Yeah, you can do it.
All right. As I looked into its dead black eyes, I saw the terrible sentience it had in place of a soul. Ooh. Behind that was the steel will of its leader. Further still, I could feel its primogenitor coldly assessing me from the void. And looking back from the deepest recesses of the alien's mind, I perceived what I can only describe as an immortal hunger. We can slay them on our worlds, blast their fleets from space, grind their armies to torn and ruined fragments, but their hunger, that's beyond our ability to slay. Ooh, that's a great quote. I mean, it's very obviously Tyranids. Like, you're not fooling anybody in 40k into thinking that's anything but Nids, but ooh, that's a spicy Nids quote.
There's a couple of those. I always really enjoyed the one from the last words of the Magos. I think before the first Tyranid thing, the whole "we cannot live through this. Mankind cannot live through this. In a single day, they have covered the surface of this planet with a flood of living blades and needle-fanged mouths." This is the end. It's like, oof. Death by the machine god. Death is here. It's really good. Yeah. Anyway, today is the wonderful situation in which I'm like, ooh, well, this is good research. You know, Shai had the idea of like, why don't we haven't really done Tyranid bioforms yet. Like the individual Gribblies of the Tyranids models and units.
Gribblies?
The Gribblies, the little Gribbles.
Like the sort of main Tyranid units that just like overwhelm you, I assume, or like just little Gribblies?
Well, just like Tyranid Tyranid units in general.
Oh, okay.
We haven't really done one that's just like full on just Tyranids, like all the little small boys and the big boys and the itty bitty boys and inner city boys, Mississippi boys.
Have we talked about the Norn emissaries since they came out? Because we haven't recorded an episode in a minute.
Are you referring to since they came out with the model?
With the minis, yeah. Or minis.
Yeah, mini. No, we haven't, but there hasn't been any more lore involving the Norn emissary.
Those are so sick. Oh
they're
my
so
God. They're so
sick.
Oh my God. And talking about Tyranid minis, all I can think is like, oh man, those Norn are so great. That mini is so cool. Oh my God.
So in preparation for research for this episode, I was like, I can't fit these all in one and go. I just can't.
There's that many?
There are so many Nids. So I was going to instead mainly cover the small Gribblies and the medium Gribblies.
Okay.
And then I thought maybe next week we'll cover all the big Gribblies and the bigger Gribblies and the big Gribblies.
The monster
which have gone
mashes,
from Gribbly to Grobbly. Or Grubbly.
Grubbly. I feel like Grubbly should be the smaller ones, right? Because it has the word grub in it. And then it goes to Gribbly, and then Grobbly.
I was considering covering the Neurolictor, yeah. No, you will get us demonetized, Shai. You will be the one who gets us demonetized. I will not. If we just talk about the model, we'll be fine. You're the problem. You're the one causing issues.
In all fairness, Shy's usually the one that keeps us monetized because she is the one censoring us out most of the time. To be fair, we slip up and, we say a little something, a little, as the kids say, out of pocket. She's usually the one that reins that in. So I don't know. I don't think she'd get us demonetized.
No, Shy spent too much time. Shy spent too much time on the internet, and she is seeing things that aren't actually there, and stuff. So
improper meme shows up on screen.
All right. So anyway, let's talk about Tyranid bioforms. Let us start with the tiniest one I can think of, the teensiest one possible. That is not fired out of a gun.
Oh no.
Because there's a million that are fired out of guns, but those are the Ripper swarms.
Oh wow.
The Rippers.
And they're the smallest, huh?
I love myself a cute little Ripper swarm. They're also known as little ankle biters.
Oh man, they already sound awful. Like the smallest, most insignificant. Oh yeah, that's about what I was thinking they'd look like. Just this absolute swarm of little, almost piranha bugs. Oh.
Yeah. So Ripper swarms are about the size of like a large house cat to about the size of a medium dog. Ripper swarms, and they scurry around the ground with the primary means of they say small maggot-like species, but they're much larger than maggots.
Yeah.
But they're like maggots for the Tyranids, I suppose.
Yeah, comparatively speaking, they're
Dan, that one guardsman is trying.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an orc. Sorry, it's an orc. I thought he was covered in dudes. That orc is trying.
Yeah, he's so dead. There's no shot.
So the Ripper swarms are pretty stupid. The mini is adorable. They're very
kind of cute. I would want one of those as a pet.
Okay, let's back up.
Not really though. A domesticated one of those.
Sure. Yeah. So they're totally mindless, just totally brainless, and they are entirely moved around by the will of the Hive Mind and the synaptic link. Once the synaptic link is cut, they just kind of flat out die. But because most Tyranids can still operate on their own without a synaptic link, they just become way stupider. Sure. It's kind of like they're eating a guardsman.
Oh, gross.
It's kind of like, I don't know, if you were in a war zone and you just lost all comms.
Oh yeah, you'd be in big trouble.
It depends on which bug though. Like a Ripper swarm will just flat out die.
Yeah.
It just loses its link and goes bleh. But mainly their entire job is to eat things. They are often deployed either to do a couple things. One, to get through little vents.
You just had to do it, didn't you?
I had to do it. I thought about it for a second. To get through little vents or areas and kind of swarm in through special spots where things can't reach. But more primarily, they are meant to eat the planet. They are sent in at the end, and they just scurry across the ground, consuming all and every little ounce of biomass they possibly can. And when they become too big and fat to be combat ready anymore, they will slowly make their way back to the big reclamation pool and jump into it and redissolve themselves back into the thing.
Yikes.
But Bricky, what if I get off the ground? Will I be safe? Of course not, Shy, because there's also a variation of the Ripper called the Sky Slashers.
Oh no, it's a Ripper swarm with wings.
It's a cute little Forge World flying Ripper swarms. So let's say you've got yourself a nice little floating fortress. Sucks to suck, man.
Those look a little bit bigger, actually, than just the regular Ripper swarms.
Yeah, because they have wings.
No, I mean just their bodies in general. If you took off the wings, they look like they'd be bigger Ripper swarms.
Maybe a little bit longer, sure.
Maybe, yeah. Also, it's weird. They only throw in the Ripper swarms after the fight. They're not during the fight, because I feel like you could really screw some people up by just sending in a swarm of these things, because they're just so numerous. Yeah, you can try and shoot all of them, but nuh-uh. And once they get to you, they're just gonna eat you alive and just turn you to a skeleton when they overwhelm you.
Considering the fact that there are orcs currently fighting Ripper swarms in the upper picture, they are used for combat. It's just their primary focus is to be the M. Because once it's not great if your entire army is based on Ripper swarms and then you kill the Synapse bug and they all just like perish.
True.
That's not good. It doesn't help.
But just keep the Synapse bug away. Just way far away. It's fine.
You're right. There's no way you can kill anything far away. Also, the whole point of Synapse is they have to be close to extend the range of the synaptic link.
Oh, well, okay, fine.
The idea of Synapse is it's like chain lightning. It bounces between Synapse creatures like a node. It goes like beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. And so if you kill a certain big bug, you sever the chain to Synapse.
Yeah, I guess I just kind of figured that it was like a direct link from like the Hive Mind. I guess I didn't realize that there needed to be a Synapse bug in the vicinity. So,
well, it is a direct link to the Hive Mind, but you need a bug to provide it.
Yeah, it's like the satellite that pushes the signal to the bugs to get them to do what they need to do. And without it, they can't get the signal, and they just
right.
Gotcha.
So. Outside of the Ripper swarms, you also have something known as the Cortex leech, which has one of the most horrifying pictures I have ever seen in my life.
Oh, no. Is this a face hugger?
It's a face hugger.
Yeah.
It is a face hugger that will burrow into the eyes, nose, ears, and mouth of the person and take over their brain and making them become little puppets. So it's mind control bugs.
Have we talked about these before? Because this picture seems oddly familiar. I feel like I would have remembered something that horrifying, but something about it does seem very familiar. I don't know if I'm just literally thinking of, like Shai said, I'm not sure if I'm just thinking about it because, it is very obviously a face hugger ripoff. Or have we talked about this?
I think it's just a face hugger ripoff.
Okay, so I'm just thinking of the classic face hugger, and that's why I think I've seen it before. Okay.
Besides the Cortex leech and the Rippers, though, we get into the more like regular battle line gribbles. Actually, real quick before that, let's do some. No. Actually, I'll say this for later. Battle line gribbles, and that is going to be the gaunt. Not to be confused with Ibram Gaunt.
Yeah.
Now, Shai, if you can throw me a little bit of a soundtrack here, maybe some like old vaudeville music. Hit me with a little bit of an old timey filter, because the gaunts are known as the termagaunts, spine gaunts, homer gaunts, neurogaunts, barb gaunts, death gaunts, hell gaunts, night gaunts, terror gaunts, slash gaunts, razor gaunts, crucigaunts, exagaunts, malgaunts, mortagaunts, render gaunts, protogaunts, pyrogaunts, slash gaunts, gonagaunts, toxagaunts, and gargoyles.
Look, I'm going to have to say, Shai, do not hit him with the vaudevillain old-timey stuff. That is not what that was. What you need to do is make this super cursed anime style and put the polka rap theme behind that, because that is 100% what he just did.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, don't worry. When the episode airs, you'll know.
Okay. Well, so we have the gaunt, and the gaunt is basically the overall term for the not main battle line, but like the infantry. What a guardsman would be in the Tyranids. And so the main one that is often used is the termagant.
I've heard of these.
You have the termagants are super common. They are nice little bugly boys. They are about 2 meters in length, and while they're not like particularly strong per se, there are a lot of them.
Yeah, there's like with most Tyranid things, it's like the overwhelming number of bugs, right? It is even comparatively speaking to the guard, I assume. There's just bug city.
Yeah, it is a ton of termagants that are normally in a large mass. And they are made often with these things called, the termagants are the gun version. And they are just recently getting new minis, and they look pretty cool.
They look kind of goofy, actually.
I like them. I think they look cool.
I think it's because they're holding the gun. I don't know why, but something about like this big alien bug thing kind of holding the gun and looking kind of forward, it looks kind of weird to me. I think it would look better literally without the gun. Because, like, it would give off this, like, sort of savage, like, raptor vibe instead of, like, look, I've got a little gun. And I don't know, something about having a gun is weird.
In that case, you're going to love the Hormagaunt, which is the exact same thing, but with giant claws and no gun.
There we go. Let's go. That's what I want.
Just like that. Bada bing, your wish is granted.
Hell
the Norn
yeah.
Queen has bestowed upon you this.
I don't want the Norn Queen to be giving me anything, because chances are it's not. I don't.
What about the table?
From a Norn Queen? Isn't she like all spikes and claws? No, she'd more likely in attempting to do so, she would probably cut everything off.
Listen, you're.
I hate that so much, Shy. What is that?
Oh, that's the
Starship Trooper.
Yeah, Starship Troopers.
I hate it. I don't like it.
Bug. Vagina bug.
Yeah, that sure is.
Now you probably do got to censor that one, Shy. You probably can't put that.
Yeah, you can't put that Starship Trooper alien on the screen. That's.
Anyway, the Hormagaunt and the Termagaunt. The Termagaunt is the shooty version. The Hormagaunt is the jumpy, really fast, like speedy, stabby version. The Termagaunt has a wide variety of guns, known as things like flesh bores, spine fists, devourers, and strangle webs, and a few others. Mm-hmm. The ones that are interesting are the flesh borers, which fire things called flesh borer beetles, which are blind beetles, blind so that they don't change trajectory when they are fired out of the gun.
Okay.
That lay eggs in the gun sack that quickly mature to keep them with a constant stream of ammunition.
Oh.
And they fly at the enemy at extreme speeds and use a little toxin poison to do a little bit of arm penetration and burrow into the enemy and at rapid speeds before quickly dying.
Oh, great! So this sounds a lot like the scarabs from the Mummy, where they just
a little
burrow
bit
in, just that all
not
fun
quite
as a kid, but yeah,
not quite like the Mummy. The Mummy ones are actually more like the Devourers.
Oh,
the Devourers are a partly rotted flesh gun filled with flesh worms writhing all in it. And once they hit the target, they burrow into the target and eat away at the body until they reach the brain.
Oh. Yum. Oh,
the Mummy.
Gross. Yeah. Well, in the Mummy, do the scarabs burrow in and then like start eating, or is
I don't know. I try not to think about the Mummy because I saw it as a kid and it scarred me for life.
Well, yeah, it was like I said, it's mostly that scarab part that scarred me for life about the Mummy. I kind of loved the rest of the movie, but like that scarab part just it never sat right with me. And the human. The mummification while they were still alive is also just not pleasant to think about.
No, there's a lot of bad stuff in that movie. But it has what's his buckets, and I like him.
What's his buckets?
I forget his name. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Anyway, they also can do other cool things like fire strangle webs, which are mucus webs that constrict around a target and then quickly harden. Struggling often has you constricted even more, so people will struggle to get away and end up actually suffocating themselves to death, which is
if you stayed
pretty
perfectly
awful.
Still, would it be any better? Like, wouldn't you still get strangle webbed and you would still die?
You'd be immobile, and then probably will just be stuck there forever and then die, or you will just be immobile and then the bugs will come and kill you anyway.
If your buddy is nearby, is that something that you could cut off, or does it harden to the point where it's like, nope, no shot, leave him, let him die?
I don't know the specifics,
okay.
But I'm assuming like a space marine would just go like bram and just break it open.
Yeah,
but like I don't know, maybe like a Catachin will have a big knife and be like, "Oh, this is nothing, mate."
Yeah.
cut.
Catachin, I've cut worse than this.
So the Termagants being the shooty ones, the Hormagaunts being the stabby ones. There are also the Gargoyles, which are basically Termagants, but a little less strong, but they have wings. And they also spit acid that they aim specifically for the eyes of the enemy to blind them and make them very confused.
I mean, that's smart. That's just smart battle tactics. So, sure. I love it. Very, very suitable name, too.
There are two new gaunts that have actually arrived. the Nero Gaunt and the Barb Gaunt.
Ooh, is that them?
No, that's the gargoyle.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that kind of looks like the wing things we just talked about, so...
The Nero Gaunt is a brand new NID, and it basically serves as this relay for the Synapse. It's got this funny little parasite on its back, and when Shai posts the mini, you'll see it. It's like kind of latched on to its head, and what they basically act as a way to protect some of the big Synapse beasts of the NIDs, but also they literally act as like a relay node to extend the range of the Synapse of the creatures.
Oh, those look silly.
They do, right? They're
those
so
are
funny.
Silly minis. Those are. I guess I don't hate them, but I don't know. So essentially, this thing is just a hulking walking relay. It's just a walking satellite.
Yeah, they're pretty terrible in game, but look, they're mainly meant to protect the big bugs. They're meant to basically just be like, hey, we are extra wounds so that you can't kill the big bug. And also we relay stuff.
Does the Synapse... I was just thinking about this, like, because it never dawned on me that Synapse bugs were a thing that needed to happen. Do you have to worry about that in the tabletop? Are there Synapse bugs that actually, like, you have to, like, have them close to your little swarmers for them to be effective better?
Yeah, so certain bugs have the rule Synapse. And if you are within range of the Synapse bugs, you are able to not be affected by battle shock, which is morale basically nearly as bad. Okay. Normally, you need to roll 2 dice and beat a number. It allows you to roll 3 dice and beat a number. There are also lots of really good abilities that the Tyranids have, special stratagems and stuff, that get specifically better if you are in Synapse. For example, Rapid Regeneration gives you the ability to make a certain squad tankier because you're rebuilding them really quick. But if they're within Synapse, it's like on a 6 dice. Now it's on a 5 dice. Or Endless Swarm allows you to regenerate little gribbly gaunts and stuff. But you can only pick one unless they're both in Synapse, then you can pick 2. And so it's like, it gets better when you're in Synapse.
Okay, that's cool that's actually something that you have to worry about in the tabletop, too, because they could have very easily just been like, yeah, that's too complicated, screw it, and just not have it, and just, that's cool that's a thing.
Yeah, it's a fun little method to work around in the game. It's not like a great rule, but it's still fluffy.
Yeah.
The Barb Gaunt is the other Gaunt, which is a fire support artillery Gaunt. And what these guys are is they are a weird blind guy with a giant parasite that is a gun attached to its body.
Huh.
It's very weird, but it is the red and black thing is another parasite attached to the blind weird gaunt thing there.
That thing looks... Is that a big one, or is that about the size of a Termo Horror Gaunt?
They're a little bit bigger. They're a bit larger.
Chunky, yeah.
They're not like giant, but they are larger. They're pretty fun. They basically fire these weird what was it? How do I describe this? It's like
barbs.
It's a barb, yeah, but it's like they're chitinous barbs, and they detonate with violent muscle spasms. Keeping the enemies slowed down and stuck. So it's like a way to control people.
Yeesh. It's just such a weird design. It's just they're totally blind and they just shoot and there's just a parasite that aims and shoots on their shoulder or attached to them.
Yeah, a lot of the new Tyranid models seem to be a lot more going for this like parasitic look.
Because that's like a symbiotic relationship, right? The gun needs the barb gaunt thing, and does the big blind thing really need the barb? I guess it needs the barb thing to see and like direct it, right?
Well, it needs to move too. So
yeah, true. It's not. It's immobile without the
It's its own. I don't know. It's its own weird, wacky combo, but it's neat.
It's unique and cool. I like the vibe. I like the vibe.
Yeah. But other than that, there's a bunch of other gaunts to go along with it. But like I mentioned earlier, there's way too many to talk about.
Yeah.
But if we want to talk about some of the other smaller bugs, we also have at least one more small bug to talk about. And we're not going to say anything because we've covered it a million times already.
Oh.
It's the Genestealer.
Ah, yes, the Genestealers. We know about the Genestealers. We have a whole episode on the Genestealers. Put the card up, Shy. Put the card up. Get people over to that Genestealer episode.
The Genestealer cult episode specifically has it talking about how a cult is formed. And how the pure strain Genestealers arrive.
And those double
they hide.
Bastards.
Yeah, they're devious. They hide. They impregnate. They create a plan. Generations in the making.
Oh yeah, it lasts. It takes a while before they sprout, but when they sprout, that's a lot of no mas.
Crazy enough, Genestealer cults are actually like the best army in the game right now.
Really, Genestealer cults are?
They've overtaken Eldar.
Wow, I don't know.
So
in my head, I
Genestealer-
was like, Genestealer cult's never gonna be like top tier for some reason. I don't know if it's just because like, oh yeah, it's just like Hume cultists with some bugs, and it's like I was like, Space Marines though, chaos, and you're telling me little cultists are, I never.
They have a rule where when you kill a unit, you roll a dice, and on a 4 up, that unit comes back at full strength next turn, somewhere where the opponent isn't on the battlefield.
Oh.
So the idea is, and if it's like a regular battle line, like normal dude, it comes back automatically. So basically, you need to be hyper mobile army and stomp out every area of the map so they can't respawn them. And so the idea is, if you want to be Genestealer cults, you need to like stomp out every nest, every home, every hidden sewer grate they're in, or else they're just going to keep coming from the mines.
I mean, that is very true to how Genestealers work, so
yeah,
that's kind of cool, actually. I kind of dig that.
Yeah, I mean, it's only half the reason they're a problem. People who play against them will realize that certain characters, the Primus, is kind of part of the reason their army is broken. But yeah, the endless respawning is pretty crazy.
That's and when you say it like that, and it's like, oh yeah, that is how Genestealers work. It's like, oh, I like
pretty cool,
that.
right?
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm okay with it now.
So that basically ends the small bugs. For the most part, besides the other 9,000 gaunts. You know, I'm just going to close my eyes and click on one of these random ones. I'm kind of curious.
Okay, go for it.
Proto-gaunts.
The first version of the gaunts, maybe? The first ones that were ever born? Huh? Because they're the proto.
There is just a picture. There is no lore. Never mind.
Nice, man. You picked a good one at random. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, let's talk about the medium-sized Tyranid creatures.
Okay.
And to start with, we should talk about what arguably is the most important Tyranid bioform of all time, the Tyranid warrior.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, you've seen this guy a million times over. Mm-hmm. He is in the Space Marine 2 trailer.
Ooh.
He is the main battle line unit for the Tyranids.
Guns and claws.
Guns and claws. But most importantly, they are big, they are tough, they are fast. They are the Space Marines equivalent for the Nids.
I was about to ask if that's what they were, if they were they are to the Tyranids what the Space Marines are to the Imperium.
I would say so. I mean, not necessarily, because Space Marines are a hyper elite force. And
sure, but that's the closest comparison you can get.
There are a ton
good soldiers.
Yeah, there are a ton of warriors out and about. There's a ton of them, but they're big and tough. They shoot really well. They stab really well. They've got crazy weapons like venom cannons, which fires poison-coated, crystals that will often explode. It's often good for tanks because the poison crystals go into the tank and explode and cover the crew with venom.
Oh.
Which is pretty great.
So it's like a venom shrapnel bomb.
Yeah, but like with some good penetration.
Yeah.
The venom cannon is your premier anti-armor. Well, maybe not anti-armor, but like anti-tough things.
Yeah.
They are also they are also synapse creatures.
Ooh.
which is why they're so important, because as they trudge around the battlefield firing at stuff and stabbing things, they are a synapse model. So they are providing the will of the hive mind and directing troops here, there, and everywhere. They're both leaders as they are like sergeants, commanders, as they are beasts and weapons.
Oh, wow. I would not have pictured this Tyranid as a commander. Also, I'm just noticing this on the mini. Man, the hands that are holding that gun look weird. That arm, sprouts into 3 different hands that are holding that big old cannon. That's a weird-looking arm, dude.
The mini is very old for one, but he got that bowling ball grip.
Yeah, in 3 different, or at least in at least 2 different spots. That's crazy. It doesn't look bad for an older mini, to be fair. For a 15-year-old mini, that's still pretty pogging, as the kids say.
Don't pog. Don't pog near me.
Oh, it's too late, dude. I have pogged, and I have been pogging.
If you keep pogging, it's good. Does your pog, will that your pog burrow into my skin and reach my brain?
Oh, it might.
The pog cannon.
Mm-hmm. It shoots passion orange guava.
Ah, it's really tasty.
It's so good.
Anyway, I guess maybe they're not necessarily commanders, the Tyranid warriors, but they're like your sergeants, your captains, you know? Mm-hmm. And for the most part, there's actually not much to talk about them because they carry all kinds of weapons and all kinds of melee weapons. They have bone swords and rending claws and lash whips and barbed stranglers and venom cannons and death spitters and scything talons. You know, they're just
strangler. I'm assuming that they strangle things with just a barbed whip type thing.
Yeah, it's like it's a seed that grows very large, is fired, and sends out hooked tendrils to bind and rip apart its prey.
Ouchies.
Ouchies.
Yikes.
So the simple Tyranid warrior is a very nice battle line unit. But what if you wanna be a brainy boy?
Oh
yeah,
what a brainy boy. Brainy Tyranid boy.
A brainy Tyranid boy, you have the lovely Zoanthrope. The Zoanthrope is deceivingly frail, as it is basically a gigantic brain on a tendril. And unfortunately,
I feel I've seen this before.
Oh, you definitely had.
Yeah, we've talked about things like this before, haven't we? I don't remember the name Zoanthrope or whatever, because I feel like I would. But I feel like we've seen giant brain just hovering around before.
You absolutely have. He do be blasting.
Never mind. Yeah. I didn't think that's what it looked like, because its head looks like a giant Ripper Swarmer.
It kind of does a little bit. You're right.
Yeah.
I guess that's a common Tyranid head.
Yeah,
look,
that's
I suppose.
the shielded, the armored look. Yeah.
So the Zoanthrope is a giant psychic beacon for the Hive Mind. It is an enormous brain bug whose entire point is to have their bodies that have ironically atrophied and just have these floated, bloated heads of overwhelming psychic power.
Oh boy, how fun.
In fact, they become so crazy, they actually don't even crawl on their tendril. They just levitate across the battlefield.
All right.
And their heads are just batteries of the Hive Mind. And they blast apart, with their brain, tanks, boil adamantium down. Sometimes enough of these will even break Titans apart because they're blasting Titans with their brains.
Oh, that mini is sick, though.
Yeah, the Neurothrope.
Yeah, that's actually a dope mini. I actually quite like that one.
It's creepy. You can see the giant brain jutting in the back.
Yeah, that's very cool. And it makes total sense why they have that giant armor plate on top of their head now, because it's look at that big old brain. Of course they would evolve to protect it. So of course you would want that giant shell on top.
Ironically, Neurothropes are pretty poorly armored, even with their chitin up there. But despite that, they make up for it in all kinds of energy force fields and psychic powers to kind of block attacks anyway.
Oh, yeah, being super psychery, they could make a lot of force fields. Because I was going to say, maybe they can psych or blast things, but if you snipe this thing, but it's well, if it has a It has a mind force field. Are they tanky in game?
They are very tanky in game, but not for their armor. They have a bad armor save, but they have an invulnerable save assumed by having their brainy blast.
Right. Okay.
These are honestly arguably one of the best Tyranid models in the game.
Yeah,
because
I was gonna say they sound amazing.
They're their premier anti-tank because they go up and there's like brain blasts and they blow you apart.
Yeah.
There's interestingly enough, sometimes the Zoanthropes have actually been seen to burn themselves out, like firing and using so much of their power that their heads will just kind of start bleeding and eventually like break down and they'll just fall limply.
Oh, so they get that 11 treatment where their nose starts to bleed and you just blah.
Well, the Psychers have apparently accompanied the idea that it's as if they're suffering perils of the warp. Because the warp is still the warp, and they may be overreaching.
Right. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you would have to reach into the warp to use all that psychic nonsense blasting. Yeah.
That psychic nonsense blasting?
Yeah. You know how the words work.
I know how words work.
Yeah.
There's also another thrope one called the venomthrope.
Man, we're really deep throping.
Oh, shut the I'm so upset.
We are. This is a deep dive.
The venomthrope are floaty, poison-dripping thropes.
Oh, great. So they just drip poison?
They have gas-filled bladders and float across the battlefield emitting lethal gas that will eventually kill the entire world's indigenous life, ruin the soil, and with enough of them, make the atmosphere completely uninhabitable so that the only thing that can come there is the Hive Fleet. And they get to be like, ooh, cool.
Oh,
food.
Wow. Yeah, Shai's right. That do be looking like something from a hentai. Very, absolutely.
Modern corporation bug. Weyland-Yutani bug.
Yeah, it's a cool looking bug though. Does it have a mini?
It does. The mini is okay. It could use a bigger base. Also, because they float, it's held up once again by a single little tendril, which makes it kind of meh.
Very flimsy and kind of... Oh, that's not bad at all. That's not a bad mini at all. Its face looks goofy. Like, it looks like its teeth are just, like, you know the stereotypical, like, British cartoon character? I don't know why, but its face kind of looks like it has teeth like that.
You mean like this?
Yeah, like that. And now I can't unsee it. But like the artwork Shai posted of it looks so much cooler.
Nerd react to this man.
Yeah, it looks like. Can you, Shai? Can you put glasses on this thing in post? Because I think it would look just like, and I can't unsee it anymore. The venomthrope has been ruined for me.
Well, unfortunately, it will also ruin a lot of other things, particularly your body, mind, and life.
I was going to say, you mean everything? Everything around it? Every living thing that is in its vicinity?
Yeah. Once it's like brief exposure to the spores of it will cause you to have nausea and spasms and vomiting. And then more than a minute will basically have your tissues start to dissolve.
Ouch.
And you will just die.
You'll just melt. You'll just melt into something for them to suck up with a straw.
Pretty much. You'll just turn into a sludge.
Yep, that is very Tyranid, to be fair. Yeah.
It's pretty awful.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There's
it's like being around anime fans. Oh no. It's so bad, but it's so true.
There's the Tyranid Ravener, which is a Tyranid warrior, but with a big whip coil tail to go fast and also like burrow in the ground. That's not really that important. I just wanted to mention it because it's kind of cool looking.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. It's like a dragon tail. That's cool.
Yeah, big old whip coil. Mm-hmm. There are also the Bio and Biovores, which have just recently gotten a brand new mini, which I am very happy about because I did not like the old gorilla ones.
Ooh, gorilla ones. These things, I when you said like, what is it, a pyromore? I thought it was going to be a pyrovore. I thought it was going to be a flame-throwing bug that just looked crazy and all charred up.
It is. So the Biovore is very old. There were the old Biovore minis, which looked like that.
Oh,
they have
I don't like that, actually.
very gorilla-y, also big penis gun.
That's the part I didn't like. The gorilla part is fine, but the big fleshy cannon thing that is very, very unsettlingly phallic is, I don't, that.
The new one is still kind of phallic, but it looks way cooler.
Oh, that's so much cooler. Oh, like just every category so much cool. Like the crazy like spider vibe, so much better than the gorilla thing. And the cannon's still kind of fleshy and phallic-y, but oh, so much better. That is leaps and bounds better than that old thing.
So this actually reminds me a lot of a certain StarCraft unit you can turn roaches into called the Ravager, or was it Ravener? Ravager.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is very close, isn't it?
I like this unit a lot. This thing fires like a little explosive thing up in the air and then down on the ground like artillery. But I've always liked them. They also look a little bit like the Ravener is just a Hydralisk anyway. So that makes sense. What was that?
What's a Hydralisk?
Oh, did you not play a bunch of StarCraft?
No, I was not a StarCraft kid at all. I was always very, very bad at those like strategy games where you had to like manage all of your little armies and stuff. Yeah, no.
That's a Hydralisk. It's basically just a Tyranid warrior, but like a Ravener with the fucking coil.
yeah. That is just like the picture that Chai posted of the Ravener or whatever.
Yeah, but the new Biovore and Pyrovore, they're both basically cannons of some sort. The Biovore in particular has the special ability to launch spore mines across the battlefield. The spore mine is the thing I mentioned that we would get to later. It is a tiny little floating bomb, and it is totally blind, and it will just slowly drift across the battlefield towards heat signatures. And when it detects one nearby, it will just go.
Oh, cool.
And it is filled with all kinds of different fun stuff with things like poisons, toxins, viruses, chemicals, sometimes even an iron shell to blow up like a frag grenade, bioacid.
Oh,
these things just float and drift in the battlefield for sometimes days, weeks, years until someone just walks by it and they're like, beep, 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 explosion.
Oh, that sucks. I would not want to be anywhere near a Tyranid mine for sure. Because that thing sounds like it just spews every noxious piece of shit that's available. That's a cool cannon though on that thing's back. That's a cool cannon. I like that one.
It's a super cool cannon. Yeah. I like it a lot. Though there's also the Pyrovore, which is a similar type of creature like the Biovore, except it is literally a gigantic flamethrower.
Oh, well, yeah, hey, Pyrovore should be like that. I mean, it's, Pyrovore, big flamethrower. Sure.
It fires is an organic flamethrower called the Flame Spurt. They are also known for exploding when they take too much damage.
Have the Tyranids ever messed themselves up by like, oh yeah, let's toss out one of those biomines that looks for heat sources, and then they're like, yeah, now send in the Pyrovore. Whoops, there's the heat signature.
No, I think the Hive Mind can differentiate.
I hope so.
But the new Pyrovore miniature looks super cool. I always like the Pyrovores because it's just a gigantic flamethrower beast that explodes, and that's just fun.
Yeah, who doesn't love a giant flamethrower on a bug?
It's the best.
Sure, yeah.
Let's see here. What else do we got? We have like 2 to 3 more.
Oh, it's specifically non-Tyranid life forms that get too close. Okay.
Non-Tyranid signatures. Yeah, okay. There is also the Hive Guard. The Hive Guard are the main species that defend the consumption structures of the hive mind, such as the giant capillary towers or the spore chimneys. Mm-hmm. They are a long-range firing platform on a big, chunky beast that basically are slightly telepathic. It basically means they can see through like the eyes of other nids, which allows them to locate their targets with their mortar-like weapons and go gadoosh, gadoosh, gadoosh.
Oh, that's very handy.
Yeah, it's super useful. These things used to be a really big problem for a while because they would fire artillery over structures and then murder you from like super long range.
Oh, they can do that on the tabletop? Like, if you have a different mini that has line of sight on a unit, you can use this thing and just be like, yeah, this thing's hitting you because my other unit can see you?
Pretty much. It's
damn.
basically an artillery platform that needs setup.
Okay. I love that concept. Like, for the tabletop, that sounds like a really cool, like, setup to get going.
It's a pretty like decent kind of backfield thing. You want to protect the main structure, so you take the Hive Guard, which makes sense. They're big, they're chunky. They're based. Their whole job is just plant themselves and start firing.
Yeah, definitely. The mini's all right. I'm assuming that's a very old mini. For an old mini, pretty good. I like it.
It's a bit old, but it's not bad. It holds up. There's the Broodlord, but the Broodlord is just like the leader of the Genestealers. It's used often to move the Genestealers around, and it's also one of the the Patriarch is the higher level Broodlord of the Genestealer cults, which I think we talked about the Patriarch in the Genestealer episode a little bit.
Yeah, and we saw a Patriarch in what book was that?
Kaiva's Kane.
Yeah, right. They kill one.
Yeah, they do. Jurgen kills it with a multi-melta or a melta-gun.
Yes. And that's when we learn that Jurgen is he's maybe got a little psych right now. Anyway,
the other ones we have are let's see here. I think the last ones we should roll off with are the oh boy. We'll talk about last Shy.
Shy is very excited about the Neurolictor, which makes me kind of excited because why?
Shy's excited for curse reasons, but
okay.
I like the Parasite of Mortrex. This is
fancy name.
Yeah, it's a brand new model that came out in 8th edition or 9th edition, so the one before this. It is basically the size of a Tyranid warrior with big old wings and a barbed tail, like a little hollow tube, like a snake's fang.
Yeah.
And it'll fly over to you and it'll shank you with the tail. And if it does, it'll implant Ripper parasite eggs into your body.
Oh no.
And then they will then grow and devour you from the inside out, and then arrive at the next guy and do the exact same thing. And do it again and again and again. And on the Imperial Fortress world of Mortrex, hence the name, the Imperial Guards held back the invasion for days until the 10th day. It arrived, and each victim added more Rippers to the swarm, to the point where a single transmission was sent out that the planet had fallen, warning of the parasite of Mortrex.
Oh man, that's so gross. Just imagining like your buddy just exploding in Ripper swarms, and they're just everywhere now, and these things are flying everywhere and just gross. Also, what a cool mini.
Oh, it's a great mini.
What
it's
a
so
cool
good.
mini. Oh, damn, that's sick. So, did they do anything besides just implanting these parasites into people? I mean, that's enough, sure, but is there anything else to them? Like, do they spit acid? Or is that pretty much just it?
I'm pretty sure it's mainly just infection.
Fair.
I mean, they do have like their own limbs they can stab you with. But for example, in game, the idea is that if you destroy an enemy using its barbed attack, you can therefore create an additional amount of Ripper swarms near them. I do enjoy that the special ability called It Itches, which is forces enemies to take battle shock tests when they're in combat with it.
Fair enough. It itches. Oh no, that's terrible. I hate it.
It's pretty great.
I hate it, but I love it. I love how fittingly disgusting it is for the Nids.
All right, we'll talk about the Lictor.
The
first.
Neurolictor.
No.
Okay, just the Lictor? I didn't realize there was a difference. I'm sorry.
The Lictor first.
Okay.
The Lictor is a very popular Tyranid model that is basically Predator.
Oh, sweet.
It is a special scout and vanguard unit of the Tyranids. Got a big old gribbly. Oh, that's right.
Wow, wasn't expecting that look when you said they're basically the predator. I did not expect that look. Wow.
I will always remember a Catachin quote, which is sex with Catachin women is like fist fighting a lictor, except your erection has a purpose.
Oh. I feel like I've heard that quote from you, but it never gets any less amusing.
Yeah, you throw this on. Yeah, a lictor on Catachin is literally just predator. It's only predator. Because lictors are, as their special like vanguard units, they are masters of stealth, and they're not immediately aggressive. They have a chameleonic skin that changes colors with the background, allows them to blend in and renders them basically invisible.
Okay.
And they'll be opportunistic hunters, stalk from the shadows, and when the time is right, murder you.
Sure, like you said, predator. It all fits.
It's literally predator.
Looks a little different from Predator. Well, the little tendrily Cthulhu-like face is kind of predatory, but yeah, sure.
They also have fancy feeder tendrils where if they eat your brain, you can actually have your memories absorbed by the lictor, learning positions and forces and enemy weak points for the Tyranids to exploit.
Devious. That's very cool. I like that they can literally absorb your thoughts by eating your brain and use it against. Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, so the lictor is basically the thing that like hides in the foliage and waits and is very opportunistic. It's a very smart bug.
Okay. Good on the tabletop?
Actually quite. They operate on their own basically, and they move around and they do a lot of damage. They're pretty good.
Yeah, as well they should if they're predator, stalker, stealthy hunter, sure.
All right. So yeah, there's also another variant called Von Ryan's Leapers, and that's not that. That's the Death Leaper. Yeah, the Death Leaper is like a named version of a lictor. It's a unique lictor.
Gotcha.
Mainly a terror world, but
Neurolictor?
Shy wants to talk about the Neurolictor. It's nothing special.
Okay.
All right. Here's the image. Show
I
him
just
the
get
image.
to see the image and figure it out? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Send it.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, why is its brain exposed?
Because it's a Neurolictor. It's like a brain. It's like a brain bug version.
Sure, but it's like, wouldn't you want plating on that part more than the parts that's the very front of the brain? Like, wouldn't you want that protected more than anything?
Very often, the neuro things like maliceptors and stuff use that to extend their psychic power.
Oh, okay. So it's specifically unobstructed because that's what lets the signal go hard.
Basically.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it do have thighs that would probably save Tyranid lives, but
oh no, here she goes. She's starting.
You wouldn't paint thigh hives at yeah. Okay. I feel like I have seen this cursed art of the Neurolictor before, of it literally in the thigh highs and the long gloves. Okay. That is pretty cursed for sure. Is that why you didn't want to talk about it, because there's just way too much like NSFW art on the internet about the Neurolictor when what is wrong with you people?
Yes.
Gotcha.
See, Warhammer, Games Workshop, decides to make new stuff. It's like, okay, you have yourself this beautiful ass looking, whatever, Neurolictor model or whatever. It's a nice looking model. It's all good. It's fine. It's fine, right? But then like they decide to give it like legs and stuff and all this weird shit. But then like you had the Death Leaper, which is this guy, and he's pretty old and doesn't look very good.
No,
and then,
wow, those are massive like arms on it. Jesus.
And then GW makes it into this thing.
Whoa! I saw that one. That's such a cool mini. Oh my god.
And it's like GW comes in here, is like, here's their Norn Emissary model. It's amazing. By the way, here's your thigh high Neurolictor. And I'm like, a crumb of consistency, a crumb of of narrative mood consistency, please. I mean, beg you.
No matter what you do, someone on the internet is going to loot it, right? What is it? Rule 34, if it exists, there is porn of it. There are no exceptions. No exceptions.
Can I still be upset about it though?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, thank God.
You understand it, you know it exists. That doesn't mean you have to like it.
Okay, thank goodness.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I didn't even notice the leg until it was pointed out.
So, aside from cursed Rule 34 Neurolictor porn, what does the Neurolictor do?
We don't really know yet. Oh God,
that mini just came out? Is it?
No. Oh yeah, it did. It came out with all the new with the more emissary.
Okay. So the okay. I thought the Neurolictor had been out for a little while, and that's okay. Gotcha.
There was the Lictor, but this is the Neurolictor.
Oh, okay. So until the Tyranid, like a new Tyranid Codex or something comes out, we don't know.
Pretty much.
Oh,
pretty much.
Cool.
And that's about it.
Yeah. That I mean, those are those are some cool gribbly grubblies.
I'm not happy with how this ended.
Oh well, hey, look on the bright side. You didn't have to talk about the horse gun, apparently.
I'll see you next week for the big bugs.
I'm okay with that ending.